Hi, my name is Nancy Ham. I am going to do a video on cloning homeopathic remedies. There have been quite a few requests for it, so I'm going to give it a shot because I have got a lot of experience in it, and I learned cloning from Dr. Kenneth Wright when I took 1,800 hours of homeopathy back in the year 2000, actually 1999 and 2000. I do not practice clinical homeopathy. I only do it for my family and friends. And so don't write me asking for what you should do about a situation because I won't answer. And right now I work on using the Banerjee protocols and the mega potencies too. I'm just starting to get into that and I just love it. So hopefully this will help you in understanding how to clone remedies. Let me just tell you just a little bit about myself. I've been into natural medicine for over 50 years. Excuse me, I got hair right there. For over 50 years, and used to do a lot of herbal, and now I am more homeopathic than anything else at all. I'm also a newborn care specialist, and I have a website called GentleVentures.com, so you can check that out. I actually, when parents bring home their baby from the hospital, I teach them, educate them on how to take care of that newborn for the first 12 weeks. And I also teach people how to do that job. So it's a wonderful career and I have been truly blessed by it and I love it. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and please feel free to messenger me, contact me at nancyjham@gmail.com, or I am under Nancy Nels, N-E-L-S, Ham, H-A-M-M, on Facebook. So feel free to messenger me also. We're going to start by the very first part of what you do to clone a bottle is to order the bottles. So I have a bunch of different sizes to show you so you'll kind of know what you're getting into. Now, most of the remedies that I have are going to be in, this is a 2-dram bottle. And you see that I have it labeled. I label all my bottles and I use a PT Touch labeler, my brother, B-R-O-T-H-E-R, my brother. And I love it. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. And it's actually the Connections model. And here's what it looks like. So I use that when I am going to label all my bottles. So this is a 2-dram bottle. Let me show you a 1-dram bottle, which is, as it should be, half the size. Well, there's an easier way to do that. Let me see if I can set it on a book or something just to show you the difference in size. There. Oops, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. So here's 2-dram. There you go. That shows you a little bit better. 2-dram and 1-dram. Now my 1-dram I use for, they're easier to carry around. These are easier to store your masters in. Now your masters is going to be the remedy you don't touch, other than to make a clone from it. So your master could be something that you got from homeopathic pharmacy, and you just keep those separate and you only use them to make a clone, the first clone with, because you can clone from a clone, from a clone, from a clone, and so on and so on and so on. Then I have these little precious bottles I love. They come in different colors, and I love that they come in different colors. Let me show you them compared to the 1-dram. I think these are like 3 milliliter, and here's the comparison. I love these because they come in different colors, and so I can have my 30 C's in the green, my 200 C's in the pink, my 6 C's in the blue, and then they have brown, and there's one more color too, purple, I think. So that's why I love those. But you know why I also love them? Let me show you. Oh, here it is. My headache box. This is my headache box. On the back of my headache box are all my headache remedies that are in this box and what each one is good for. So if I have fullness or heaviness of my forehead, I would use aconite 200C. And that aconite 200C is in this box. And see, it's got all those little tiny remedies in it. So that's why I like those. Now, the other one I have, which I love, but is totally different, is, this is my baby. These are pellets. The others are liquids. These are pellets. And I put these in little dooflicky. So he goes in here, and then all my, what's in there is written right on the cover, on the inside cover actually. And because these bottles are so little that you can't write the whole name on, because the label will be too big to wrap around and around. So I just label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 in here. And then on the inside of the box, and number 1 is aconite 200. Okay, so that all I have to do is look there, say aconite 200, and then look for number 1 in my little storage box. So that's why I like those. So let's just say that you finally have gotten an order of bottles. I don't care what size they are, but you've got your orders of bottles. Now, what do you do with them? Well, the first thing that you have to do with them is sterilize them, because we don't trust where they came from, where they've been, how they were manufactured, whatever. We need to sterilize them. So the best way that I have found to sterilize is, first of all, to remove the tops from all of them. And you're going to, if the tops are the rubber tops like this, the dropper tops, you're going to boil them, but you're not going to bake them. We're going to bake our glasses, our bottles. That's how we're going to sterilize them. So I usually use a strainer, and I wash the bottles, dump them in the strainer, wash them really good with nice soap, using good organic soap, wash them good. And usually washing consists of putting them in the really hot water with soapy hot water and just kind of mushing them around, because you really can't clean each one of them. That would take way too long. So then I rinse them thoroughly using the strainer, so all the water is always running off. Then I get out a cookie sheet, and I line the cookie sheet with parchment paper, because we want to make sure it's clean. And I put all of the bottles on the cookie sheet, not the rubber toppers, just the bottles. And I bake those in the oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. If you have bottle tops that are plastic, I wouldn't put those in the oven either. I would boil them. So you can throw them in a pot, bring them to a boil, and boil them for like, now I'm not sure about this, so you might have to look this up, because I didn't look this up before I did this, but I would say 10 to 20 minutes would be sufficient time to boil them. And then you can rinse them off and air dry them. Now, when you take the bottles out of the oven, and when the tops are sufficiently dry, you're going to put them in Ziploc bags. You don't have to label them, because you can see right through the Ziploc bags, but you can label them if you want to. As you know, each bag said this 1 dram, 2 dram, 3 milliliter, etc. So you can do that if you want to. Let me see if I've got my notes here, so I won't forget anything. Oh, you can purchase the bottles are getting harder to purchase. I went to purchase bottles because I was getting low on them, and I went to Amazon, where I usually get my bottles. And every one of the bottles that I generally order from Amazon was not orderable. I did not show you one bottle. I did not show you one bottle. This bottle, this is a 1 ounce. This is a 1 ounce bottle. And before I go any farther, I'm going to tell you what I use this for. Now, this one here is going to be Rutox 30C, because I've got a little bit of aching in my bones. So I use this a lot. And I don't want to be replacing it all the time. So I just put it in a big bottle. Now, I don't have a lot of these. If I'm going to share a remedy with a friend or with a family member or something, and they don't want to keep coming back to me for refills, and they don't want to clone it themselves, then I just put it in one of these bigger bottles. And I'll tell you what else I do. If I'm going to give it, like say to one of my kids, I would give them this size of bottle. Then I would give them the alcohol solution, which is going to be, probably for cloning for like a family member or somebody else like that, for yourself, whatever, is probably going to be 20% alcohol, 80% water. And then I'll take an extra bottle, and it doesn't have to be this kind of bottle, just any bottle, and I'll fill it with that solution. And I'll send that with them with the instructions on how to clone the next bottle, which we'll talk about. Don't worry. One more thing I want to show you before we continue is this is my bottle I use for the alcohol and water mixture. Now I have a few of these because I have different mixtures. And this one is going to be the 80-20. It's not labeled, and I know that. This is the 80-20. So that means it's 80% alcohol, 20% water. Now remember, I just told you that when you are going to clone for a friend or anybody else like that, you're going to use the exact opposite, which is 20% alcohol, 80% water. And it's always going to be distilled water. Don't use tap water. I wouldn't use filtered water. I would just use good distilled water because it's pure. There's nothing else in there, and you know that. I think what I'm forgetting here. Okay, so we are going to make a clone. I'm going to show you how to make a clone. So you have received from the pharmacy, let's just say Arnica 30C. And you have it in pellets, and you want to make it last. Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. Now, here's the first way. You're going to take maybe 3 or 4 of those pellets and put them in one of these bottles. Don't care what size you use to start off with. I really don't care. This is going to be your, what we call your master. So this size is where you can store your masters. You might have a kit of some kind. Bullet boxes work really well for some sizes of bottles. There's just, you have to just kind of look in the internet for things that will hold this size. And so I put like 3 or 4 pellets in here, and then I fill it up just barely cover it, but maybe a 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch of distilled water. I let that sit until those pellets are all dissolved. Then I add my 80-20 alcohol water. Now you can do that in 2 ways also. You can just directly add it to your bottle that's got the pellets in. That'll have a little bit of particle in it, however. And then shake it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times, activates it. You're good to go. The other way to do it is take that little mixture you have in the bottom and just take a couple drops out of it, put it in a new bottle and then add your 80-20 to that. So you can do either way. Both are just as effective. And that is how you make a master clone. All right, so now let's say that you have your child bruised his knee, and you want to give him Arnica 30C for that. But you don't want to give him the 80-20 alcohol. Man, I mean, that stuff's potent. That'll knock you right off your britches. Not that it'll do anything like make you drunk, but it's real strong in your mouth. And you don't want to do that. Well, you can use food grade glycerin is one way that you can do that. Using the 80-20 again, 80%, or you can use glycerin in a lower percent. You can use it in any percent that you want, and even probably 10%. However, the higher the percentage of alcohol or glycerin that you're using, the longer they're liable to last. Now, so you're going to take the, let's just say you do a 50-50, glycerin and water 50-50. And you fill up your bottle for your child of glycerin, water, 50-50. You take a drop of that, of this that you just made, take a drop of that, and you put it in that bottle of glycerin and water. And you succuss it. You don't have to do 10 times. I probably do 5 times just to activate it. it's good to go. It's ready to go for your child. Now, you shouldn't take the glycerin bottle and make a clone using alcohol. You should stick alcohol with alcohol and glycerin with glycerin. So now this glycerin remedy will only be used for glycerin remedies. Is that clear? I hope so. Okay. I'm just trying to see if I'm forgetting anything about that kind of cloning. We've got that if you start with a liquid, some people start with a liquid. Well, starting with the liquid makes it really easy. That's nothing. So then you just take an empty bottle, fill it with the 80-20 alcohol water. You put a couple drops in there, you succuss the other bottle, then you got 2 bottles of the same remedy. Now, my master bottles, my master ones, like this is a master bottle. I don't use that except for cloning. And I only use it for cloning one time. Then I would use it for, I wouldn't use it for anything. That was just emergency use. This is kind of like my master, just different. I don't use it. I only use the cloned bottles to make clones because I want to keep this pure. I want to keep this good. The one thing that I found out about masters and about cloning or anything is the more alcohol you use it, the faster it evaporates, which isn't very good. So I used to use 90-10 alcohol to distilled water, and that was evaporating so fast. So now I've cut it down to 80-20, 80 being the alcohol, 20 being the water. And that seems to do a little bit better, but I may cut it back a little bit further because I'm still getting quite a bit of evaporation. I live in Arizona and it's really dry here. So I'm filling up my masters 2 times a year. See, now this is down to here right now. And what is this? Oh, I've taken 2 helpings out of here. So it's evaporating. So I always have to go through my remedies to make sure that they have not evaporated out. Now, if they have evaporated out and there's like only a drop left of this whole bottle, and I look at that, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's only a drop in here. Doesn't matter. Fill it up with your 80-20 alcohol, shake it, succuss it, and you've got a new remedy. No problem. Now, there are even people that say, and I have tried it, and I can't say that I have seen that it makes a difference. I have seen mine completely gone. It's like there's nothing in here. There is nothing in here. But there's remedy, there's vibration that clings to the side. So I just fill it up with 80-20. I succuss it 10 times, and it's a good remedy. Okay. We're going to talk about cloning pellets now, because there are a lot of people that would rather have pellets. I have a friend who only uses pellets. She never uses the liquid. She prefers pellets. So how do you clone a pellet? You've got this little hard pellet thing coming from Helios or Homeopathic Works or whoever you use. And how do you double that? You chop it in half? No, you don't chop it in half. These are so easy to clone. These are the easiest to clone. So these are my homeopathic pellets. And number 3 is, oh, it's actually arnica. Number 3 is arnica. Oh, and I see it's about half of it's gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, you have to buy the blank pellets first, and you buy them from the homeopathic pharmacies. So I'm going to go and get some pellets out of my remedy closet. I'm going to dump the blank pellets in with the active pellets. I'm going to shake it. That doesn't matter, just a few times, or you can even just roll it around in your hand like this. Set it aside for 24 hours. Don't use it for 24 hours, and it's good to go. You can only have 1 pellet in this little bottle that's active. Put a bunch of blank pellets in there, shake it up, let it set for 24 hours, and all your pellets will be active. Promise, I swear to you, it's the truth. The other thing you can do, because some people don't believe that, is that you have this is got pellets in it, full of blank pellets. Just say it's full of blank pellets. you take 1 drop of your 80-20, 1 drop. Don't do more, it'll get gushy. Don't want gushy, just want it done. 1 drop, put it in the bottle, shake it, roll it around, let it set for 24 hours. You're good to go. Okay, so those are ways to do it. And the other way to do it is take all the blank pellets that you just bought, put them on a piece of parchment paper and spray them with the 80-20 mixture. So I would take a bottle like this with a spray top on it, and I would have filled with the 80-20. I'd put maybe a dropper full. Actually, a drop should do it, but I'd put a dropper full just to make sure. I would succuss this 10 times to make sure, or I'm sorry, I keep saying succuss 10 times because that was the old way of doing it. You just have to succuss it a few times to activate the remedy. You don't want to succuss it more than 10 because then you're adding more to the remedy potency, which you're doing anyway every time that you succuss it. You're adding just a little bit more. You're changing the remedy just a little bit more every time you succuss it. That's fine. So you might end up with instead of an arnica 200, you might end up with an arnica 200.0000001. So it changes it just a little bit. Okay. So pretend this is a spray bottle, not the dropper bottle. So you're going to take your spray bottle and spray those pellets. Just it does, once again, don't saturate them, don't do anything crazy like that, just do a light mist over them. So you probably don't need a bottle this big. You probably can use one of those little spray bottles, but I was just giving you an example. I hope you can follow along my weird ways of doing things. Let me see if I forgot anything about that. Okay, we're going to talk about something really, really interesting. That's paper remedies. Oh my goodness. Paper remedies. Oh boy. There's a really good article on the paper remedies. I'm going to basically tell you what the article says right now. But if you want it, email me or something, or maybe I'll put it in the bottom of this underneath. So paper remedies. Now, what this guy says is when time is of the essence, you don't have time to order a remedy. You maybe need it within the next day or so. You can decide what remedy you need, the exact name of the remedy, and the potency that you need, okay? You're going to write the name of the remedy and the potency on a piece of paper, exactly what it is. So you wouldn't write arnica, you'd write arnica montana 200C. And then you can give that piece of paper to a person, have them put it in their pocket, carry it around with them on their person someplace. And as long as this person is in contact with that piece of paper, the remedy is active within them. That just blows my mind. Totally blows my mind. Now, to stop that action, you just take that piece of paper off and leave it somewhere else. Okay. If you want to do a liquid remedy, then that means that you take it orally and you place a cup of water on top of a piece of paper with the remedy name on it and the potency exactly as it is. Or you can also put it in a label like this and put it in a dropper bottle. In 3 hours, the remedy is imprinted into that bottle. And you can take the bottle. Now, you're best off, instead of using this, to use something disposable, because you cannot reuse this once it's used like that. You can't wash it off. It won't wash off. You can't boil it off. And they say you can boil it off if you boil it for 15 minutes. So if you do use this, if you do use a glass bottle, wash it out really good and then boil it for 15 minutes before using it with another remedy. Okay, and that goes for any of the other remedies that you're also cloning. If you want to reuse the bottle, be sure to boil it first. I think, just a minute, let me just check my little notes here. Oh, it also says if you want to sip it during the day, just take 1 drop and dilute it in water by putting 3 drops or 1/3 of a teaspoon in the water bottle or glass, and then shake it well and sip it during the day. So you can also do that. And there's also one more thing. I'm just adding weird things now that I have just recently learned about, and that is that you can take a remedy bottle like this and put, let's say that you your grandma needs a remedy, and she can't remember to take it, and she's not doing it right. Just take a piece of her hair, put it in the remedy bottle, label it Grandma's Arnica or whatever you're going to label it, and set it someplace. It will act on Grandma. This stuff is amazing. This stuff is amazing. But they do say with that to use the LM because it's a slow acting remedy, and you don't want something that's really powerful acting on them all day long. It would be like taking a 200 every 15 minutes all throughout the day. You don't want that. So they say to use an LM in that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I close off. We talked about the label maker. We talked about cloning the bottles, how they look, ways to store them. I hope I've covered everything, and I hope I've made everything really clear. Sometimes I'm not real clear. If I'm not real clear, please just let me know. And thank you very much for watching this video, and have a great day. Bye now.